Hey everybody, and welcome to your midweek Born Again to Live, right smack dab in the middle of end of a season, not just the end of a day.
I mean, we're getting towards the end of the season, Eric. We only have a few more days before we spring forward on the clocks. I'm so excited.
Well, we have had warmer weather, so that's good.
Thank goodness.
A little bit. And most of the snow melted from that snow-ageddon that we didn't get.
Yeah.
I mean, more of an ice-ageddon.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I kind of wanted the snow, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. It's supposed to be soft and fluffy and something you can play in, not just something that lays there and doesn't move like, I don't know, like hardened lava. It was more like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever the exact opposite of lava is, that's what that was.
Pretty much. So anyways, we're at the tail end of our study of Jonah. And yeah, yesterday we ended the Jonah study. And I said there was a little bit more that we had.
Yeah.
Which I got this, I'm going to be honest with everybody. I got this straight out of my John MacArthur study Bible. At the beginning of the Jonah section, there's a chapter at the bottom of chapter 1. It just says, the 10 miracles in Jonah.
Yeah.
And I started reading through it, and I'm like, oh, wow, like, some of these are, like, so small, but if you look at them, yeah, they are miracles. They're really profound things. So I just want to walk through 10 things that are considered miracles that happen in Jonah. There's a little bit of a life that we get about it.
Okay.
I think it's worthwhile taking a study just because it also gives us perspective in our lives as to, you know, what God does in our life that we don't count as a miracle.
Yes.
That we overlook and say, oh, yeah, no, that was not a miracle. Well, it kind of was.
Yeah.
So I like this John MacArthur view on things. So it's a chronological order that just goes straight from chapter 1 to chapter 4.
Okay.
But the first one is that God sent out a great wind on the sea. And Amy brought up a good point. The fact that God was talking to Jonah.
God spoke to Jonah. Like, that was kind of the first big one, right?
And that probably should have been number 1 and been 11 here.
Right. But that's okay. Me and John MacArthur, like, we have different opinions.
You didn't communicate very well in this moment. Sorry.
Not, but no. He sent out a great wind on the sea.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's actually a opposite of what we would normally think of as a miracle because it was coming to disrupt Jonah's plan.
Yeah.
But God sent it out anyway.
As opposed to the east wind of judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But he sent out this great wind to slow his running away, to cause a problem. But it was still a miracle in that God sent out this giant wind to do this. It's no different than when God wants to change your life and he sends in a almost like a hand grenade sometimes, and things will be blown up and you're going, oh man, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? The miracle is that God's working.
Yeah.
And so that's what I took that as, is that that's in chapter 1, verse 4, that he was working.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and again, like, we see to the outside world, this was a literal storm.
Yeah.
And yet, when we're all walking in those literal storms or, metaphorical storms in our lives, like, do not be fooled. Do not be deceived, as Peter or Paul would often write. Like, God is always working, even when it doesn't seem like he is, when it seems like he is asleep at the wheel, or, again, Jesus was just taking a nap, just like Jonah was taking a nap, right? When there's this big gale force wind on the water and the boat's in peril, and these bros are they're just checking out. They're just relaxing. So, even in the midst of the storm, it doesn't mean God's not at work.
Yeah. So, the next miracle it lists there is in 1:7, and it says the lot fell on Jonah.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think that to be a miracle, but yeah, I mean, to randomly, so Jonah's asleep under the boat, basically, at the bottom of the boat.
Yeah.
He's asleep. Let's say he's in a hammock, because that's where I'd like to be, in a good hammock on the ocean, swaying back and forth. But he's dead asleep to the world. Nobody can wake him. And they're up there drawing straws, and they're like, well, there's 27 of us on board. Let's put 27 straws, and the one that gets the short straw And 26 people draw, and the guy's left with one, and they're like, who's straw?
Yeah.
Oh, where's Jonah? Where's the guy at? He asleep downstairs. His is the short straw.
Yeah.
Like, so that's how I'm thinking this miracle happened, is it was like Jonah didn't even get to draw his straw, or he didn't get to cast the dice, but yet the lot still fell on him. Like,
Yeah.
God was merciful enough to say, I'm not telling you it's Joe's fault when it's Jonah's fault. I'm not going to say that my great wind I just caused is because of anybody else other than the one person it was for.
Right. Well, and Jonah's the prophet. He's the one that, had he prayed and said, God, reveal to us who this person is, Jonah probably would have gotten that word, but he was asleep, and the only people that were left were certainly not people that at the time were following the Lord. And yet you're right. God revealed what they needed to know anyway.
And he saved them through it.
Yeah.
He saved this group of people who were trying to find the problem, and any one of them, if the lot had fell on them, they would have been thrown into the sea. Would God have saved them?
Right.
Would they have been saved because they didn't know who God was?
Yeah.
They were worshiping other gods, praying to their gods. And when the lot fell on them, would they have been in the same situation? No. So through the lot falling on Jonah, these people come to know salvation.
Real salvation. I know, like real salvation, not just being saved from a storm, real salvation. And I think when we are sort of, again, we're in our own little storms, we're not seeing the big picture. Because if you're always like, I wonder what God's up to. What God is up to is real salvation. Yeah. And whether he's going to use, a job or a job loss, whether he's going to use, a wayward prodigal son, however God's going to do it, that's always the goal, is real salvation. It's never just, he's not concerned about the starving just getting food in their bellies. Like Jesus, like, I will give you living bread. Like, he wants to feed you, but then he wants to give your soul that everlasting life. So that's always God's agenda.
Yeah. So the miracle, simply that the right person was blamed.
Yeah. Amen to that.
Then verse 15 of chapter 1, and what it called the third miracle, the sea ceased from its raging.
Yeah.
My vision here is that, like, you ever been on one of those VR headsets for these rides or games or whatever?
Yeah.
We were at Dave & Buster's not long ago, and there's a thing there that when you put the headset on, there's a little button at the middle. It says to stop, press button. Like, if you get motion sick or whatever,
Yeah.
I can imagine, like, you're in the midst of this churning sea and the boat's turning and somebody just hits the button.
Yep.
Like, that's my thinking of how God stopped the sea from raging. Like, it went from, like, the worst waves you've ever seen to the calmest brook you've ever seen. Like,
Yeah.
just boom.
Yeah.
Like, that would be the coolest thing to see.
You could see your reflection in the water.
Yeah.
I love it when the ocean is so glassy like that. It doesn't happen a lot, but when you see a really smooth body water, it's so pretty. But
Yeah, I've never been on one of those raging seas, but I can imagine,
I
like,
don't want to be.
to stop, to just flip off in a switch. Like, that would be so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely got to see that. But it wasn't in, like, the minute he was in the water, right?
Yeah.
It's like the minute his hand touched.
Yeah. That would be so just cool to see. Like, one of those, again, if you could go back and look and you get to heaven and God's like, what do you want to see? All right, number one, I want to see what fish you used, but I want to see that everything just quits.
Yeah.
Just quits. Just drop of dime, just quits. That'd be so cool. So the next miracle, and this is one of the actual, like, I would consider this a big miracle, is Jonah is swallowed alive by a big fish.
Yeah.
That's verse 17 of chapter 1. Like, that's a miracle. Like,
Yes.
it's not eaten alive, not eaten, not killed, not anything, just saved.
Yeah.
In the belly of this animal. Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. As crazy it sounds, like, even stranger things happen, even still to this day. Yeah.
And God provided it again. He prepared a fish. It says that exact phrase. He prepared a great fish. Like, it's not that God provided he prepared this. He knew that I speak to the stars. I call them by name. I know every star. I placed it in things. I know every being. I've created every animal. I've created every being. I told this fish to be at this location at this exact time in this date in history in this moment, and to just open your mouth.
Yep.
And I will do the rest. Like, that's all I need you to do. And God spoke to that moment and just said, I need it. I need this. And that's what happened.
Yeah.
That's a cool miracle.
Yeah, it's certainly one way to be saved from drowning, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that would be a good way to go. Like, I wouldn't want to drown in the ocean.
Yeah. But if a massive fish big enough to swallow me was coming at me, I'd probably die of a heart attack before I let that thing swallow me. That also had to be terrifying.
That's why it took him 3 days to figure out where he was. He was too scared.
Did he still even know? Maybe he thought he was like in the depths.
Maybe he thought he was dead.
Yeah. I mean, because why? It wouldn't make sense any other way. Like, you kind of wake up from the commotion and the raging water, and you're still kind of in water of some kind, but it's dark. You have no idea where you are. Like, who knows what was going through his head, like where he actually thought he was. But, all right. Well, so then the Lord's relationship with this fish continues.
Yeah. And the next miracle is that the Lord spoke to the fish. It vomited Jonah on the dry land. Like, that's actually 2 miracles in one.
Yeah.
God speaking to a fish to do anything. It sounds kind of crazy because I've got goldfish or had goldfish, and they just swim around the bottom. It's like, they don't know anything. They don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So to get one to actually do what you want it to do is kind of cool. And then to get the fish to just know where to go and to throw him up on dry land. I wish it told us where he spit him up, because it would be so cool if it was like, and he spit him up in Nineveh.
Yeah. Yeah. Right at the dock.
Like,
hey, welcome to Nineveh.
And they're like, hey, welcome to Nineveh. Like, oh, man, you win. Like, you win, God.
But can you imagine how nasty, having just been vomited up, you've been in the belly of a fish, like all the acid, the bile, all the crap that's in the belly of a fish. Like, maybe this is why the people, God uses everything. Maybe this is why the people were terrified of him and didn't come chase after him and stone him to death or anything, because they see this stinky, bile-covered, slimy guy walking through their streets. Everybody got the heck away from him.
Yeah. Hey, you could smell him for a day.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, it's a 3-day walk into Nineveh, and the first day his stench is still at the gate, and he's halfway in. It's like, all right, no, we're going to stay away from that guy.
Yeah, no one's touching him. So, I mean, in God's perfect plan, he's like, oh, yeah, no, we're definitely going to have a stinky guy doing this.
The king's like, kill him. I'm not touching him.
That's where that expression, I want to touch him with a 10-foot pole. Yeah. That's where that came from. Yeah. Fishing pole, that is. But that is definitely a wild miracle. And again, I know skeptics and non-believers, they can get so hung up on sort of the details of this story, Eric. And when people love to point out the impossibility or the improbability, I just simply tell them, I said, listen, like, I'm believing that God rose Jesus from the dead. If you can do that, you can do anything. You can do anything. If you can conquer death, you can do anything else.
Yeah.
And much like these men in the boat with Jonah, like, the followers of Jesus said the same thing. Like, who is this that the wind and the waves obey him? So it doesn't take too much to track. Okay, the wind, the waves, like death, like all these things God has control over. All of a sudden, this whole fish tale is not so hard to believe.
Yeah, I agree. It's, I don't know. I think of the same line. You go to resurrection, I go to creation.
Yeah.
If you can create everything, you can do anything. Like, if you can create the world, all right, yeah, you can make a fish do what you want it to do. You can create every miracle.
Yeah.
Because you've already created everything that's involved
in
a miracle. So, yeah, I mean, resurrection's a great place to start. Creation, any of those. Like, any of those, if you have a God that powerful. And Amy and I were having a conversation in between the last show and this show. And I said, yeah, I don't know that we'll ever do that. And she goes, do you know the same God I know? I'm like, exactly. That's the attitude we should have.
Yeah.
It's not an if, it's a when.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we're going to get that building, if that's supposed to happen, well, I believe God can do it. So
yeah,
let's just put our chips out and say, God, do it.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to believe big things from God. And if you think of God and then you think of how God would solve it in a human way, then number one, that's not God. That's just that's another person. God's not a person like you and I are. Like, he's so much bigger than that. So we can't box him in. We talked about that, but yeah, he's gonna have a way of doing everything that is beyond what we can think or imagine. Because I don't know about you, Eric, but as hard as I'd work, I've never created another animal. I've never created an ocean. I've never, I haven't done a lot. So I'm not God. Thank God.
Yeah. And then, so the next miracle there is that, chapter 3, verse 10, it says, God saw their works and they turned from their evil ways.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that God forgives,
Mm-hmm.
that's a miracle in everyday world. Like, that's
really
our
is.
everyday. That's why we do the podcast. That's why we do Born Again Life, because it's never too late. It's never too far-fetched to think that God can save that person, or God can save me, or God can save anybody. Like,
Yeah.
if God sees it and you believe in him and know who he is, he can do anything with that. And yes, we've seen so many people come to know Christ that you're like, nope, that one, nope, that's not going to happen. And boom, there it happens.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, well,
I love to be proved wrong.
Yeah. I mean,
when it comes to stuff like that.
I look at Chris Montgomery's story. I mean, we heard that in season 1 here, and yep, Chris did not want to be saved. God saved him, and now almost 40 years later, look at where he's at. He's pastor, and from humble beginnings of not even knowing who God was, had to be taught who God was, had to be taught who God is, and all these things. And now he's a pastor at a church and leading the next generation to know who God is. That's a miracle.
Yeah.
That's a miracle.
And he's on our big blue core team. He's part of the family.
Yeah.
And man, we are all just grateful for we all contribute our own thing to the core team. And I think I've said this before, but it's amazing how we all have these different giftings that just work out so perfectly. But we're grateful for like what he contributes in each one of us. But yeah, it is wild to think about what God has done in his life, and just everyone sitting around that table. We were all once lost.
Yeah.
And here we are, the little herd of that 1 in 100 sheep all kind of coming together. Like, it's amazing.
That's right. All right. So next one, I guess number 8 on our list, is the Lord God prepared a plant.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple parts of this story. Yes, it talks about in the actual story that it popped up overnight.
Yes.
And to provide shade. Okay. So how big does a plant have to be to provide shade?
Right?
So it's kind of cool that this plant overnight got from nothing to shade bearing. So we're just going to call it a shrub.
Yeah.
Because that's my obvious, like, it has to just be a shrub.
Yes.
Can't be a full-blown tree. I mean, God can do pretty cool miracles.
Yeah.
That would be an amazing one.
But I feel like if it was a tree, it would say a tree. So
Yeah.
I think the fact that it says a plant, it's
like a one vine, or like a shrub that with big leaves, like an elephant plant. Let's go.
Yeah, or even like a full fern or something would be very shady.
Something like that, but in one day. God went from nothing to full shade. Like, he provided it all in one day.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool miracle. Like, I can see a lot of things grow, but now, let's take this to our Christian walk. This plant could be a person. Like, in one day, God could take you to maturity. In one moment, God could move you to maturity. Not a slow growth, not a plant wait and see. It's a boom.
Yeah.
We got this. Like, that's what he did with Nineveh. It was a boom. We're going to throw Jonah in the middle. He's going to say this, and then the whole place is saved.
Yeah.
It's like, that's God's providing a plant right there. He was like, nope. We don't need to do weeding. We don't need to do all this stuff. Jonah, you don't have to water it. I'm going to fix this right here and right now.
Yeah.
So,
well, like, okay, if we go all the way back to, I mean, we sort of, not that we gloss over it necessarily, but it said, in chapter 1, verse 2, when he says, go preach in the great city of Nineveh, because its wickedness has come up before me. So God, whether it's the angels reporting this, whether it's prayers that have gone up, like basically God's saying, it has been brought to my attention that these people are, and I mean, again, God already, He knows everything, but this is basically his way of saying, and now it's time to act, you know, but there were people probably praying, whether they were praying that the town repents or they were praying against their oppression. Maybe it was the people of Jonah's town being like, oh man, these guys are always like coming up against us, attacking us, the other Israelites, whatever it was. But yeah, the wickedness was known far and wide. So,
and what if it was Jonah that was praying, God, why are you allowing Nineveh? And he's like, all right, you want to change it? Go walk there.
Yeah,
go there.
Right.
You asked me what to do. Go. I'll show you.
Exactly.
I mean, think about that. Think about in your own life. If you're praying about a situation,
yeah.
Let's say you have an enemy that's completely oppressing you and hurting you, or your boss is like making you work all of these Sundays or whatever, and you're like, God, change the situation. And he goes, okay, let's go. Let's go. You speak to them. You're going to go, no.
Yeah, no, that's not what I meant.
Yeah, I mean, you do it. And he's like, no, I meant for you to do it.
Yeah.
You go and preach to them. You go and tell them about me. And then the situation will change. And you're going, no, that's not how this works, God.
Mm-hmm.
I asked for something different.
Yeah. Yeah. We are our worst enemies sometimes. We really are.
All right. So the ninth little miracle there is in 4:7, it says, and God prepared a worm. Again, same as the fish.
Yeah.
Like God just, hey, little worm, go kill this tree.
Yeah.
Or a shrub or whatever, you know. It's so cool that, like, even in this moment, that's a miracle of God that you allowed this. He chose to do it this way.
Well,
he could have caused the east wind to blow it down.
I like that they use the word prepared, or I think in mine it was a similar, can't find it, but provided. So mine says provided, yours is prepared. But like in both cases, the point is there's nothing random about this, you know?
Yep.
You know, Jonah didn't happen to be swallowed by a great fish. This plant didn't just happen to like come up overnight, because that doesn't happen to a single plant that we know of. And, you know, so yeah, okay, maybe the worm could have been random, but like the fact that it's worded the way it is, that God provided or God prepared, this tells you God orchestrated all of it.
Yeah.
Top to bottom.
Yeah, it wasn't like, hey, randomly a worm crawled. You know, that's how things go. No, it was like, God did this.
Is this the only worm we really hear about in the Bible?
It might be.
I feel like we don't hear a lot about worms.
No, worms I don't hear much of. So.
I mean, locusts, yes, but worms?
Lots of owls. Like,
yeah.
if you read Jeremiah is like always about the owls in the desert.
Ooh, animals of the Bible. We hear a lot about lions.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, worms, they really...
They have their place. God can use them.
Well, we identify with worms here on the Born Again to Live podcast.
Well, caterpillars.
Caterpillars.
Because they're beautiful eventually.
Eventually. That's the key.
All right, last one. And God prepared a vehement east wind.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a miracle that the wind, I mean, think about it. Have you ever been in like a desert situation? The closest I ever got was Curacao, where I went on a honeymoon. Beautiful location. Stays 87 all the time. All the time. Like 87 at night, and I think it's like 75 at midnight, or 87 in the day, or 90, and then like low or high 70s at night. Like that's all year round. Like every day is the same on this island. But the cool thing was they had this trade wind. And I'm not a hot-natured person. I can't stand to be hot. Like, I sweat. It's awful.
You're ginger, that's why.
And, man, we would walk out on the beach, and they would have that trade wind, and I'd feel like that 15-mile-an-hour breeze just constantly going over me, and I was comfortable. And I think of that being what God did here. It was, this was more of a scorching, hot wind. But at the same time, when you feel that breeze on that beach like I did, you have to understand God provided that. Like, that's nice. Like, that's nice. This one might not have been so nice, but God provided it. You knew that it was a God-provided judgment.
Yes. Well, and yours said vehement wind. Mine did say scorching. And so I think about sort of that desert, like I've been to Las Vegas a few times, like where it's that dry heat. And on those windier days, it's like taking a hairdryer to the face. Very unpleasant. And that's how I think of when I hear about this scorching east wind. May I add one more miracle? I kind of penciled this in and it made me laugh. The miracle being that God didn't kill Jonah.
Okay.
Because honestly, his reaction to everything God just did and the salvation of, it really is that moment where he was like, the clay does not tell the potter what to do. But seriously, so Jonah disobeys him, and then he probably just sort of half-butted it through Nineveh saying, he never once was honoring and loving of his calling. And then, God does these amazing things. He complains about it. He wishes he were dead. Like, I think the miracle is that God just didn't take him out because he kind of deserved it, Eric. Like, he had this hero moment and he sort of ended as a villain. That's, it's kind of a sad little tale here.
Yeah. And when Jonah's on his rant of, I knew you were going to do this anyway,
Right.
He says, I know who you are. You are gracious and merciful, slow to anger and abundant in loving kindness. But he says, then just kill me. Wouldn't it have been funny if God just snapped his finger? All right, that's what you wanted. Hey. And then looks over to his side and goes, hey, Jonah. Almost what he deserved. But he's still merciful that he's like, I'm going to show you one more time. I'm going to show you this one more time. This is how much you matter to me.
Okay, put somebody in a different situation with the same words, right? Let's say it was, one of the apostles up on the cross, okay? Not Jesus, but some rando is up on the cross and Jesus comes, gets him down, says, I'll pay his thing for you. Who is then going to say, I know you're loving, I know you're merciful, I know you're gracious, I'm not surprised you did this, but let me die anyway. Nobody would ever say that. If somebody paid off the mortgage on my house, I'd be like, I knew you were going to do this because you're generous and you have a ton of money and you love me so much and you don't want to see me struggle, but I want to die.
Yeah.
Seriously, Jonah, you're getting on my last nerve.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's our end of our Miracles of Jonah and the end of Jonah right now.
It really is the end of Jonah.
It's a really cool book. It doesn't take long to read it. It's really short. But it's always given me something. So I like going there and just checking it out. We always constantly running from our call and constantly screwing up, which makes him more relatable than anybody else.
It really is a very relatable part of the Bible, for sure.
So I'm not going to make God mad and get on a boat. Sorry. It's not going to happen.
No, we should be grateful that God he calls us to the impossible, every single one of us. And we just need to be open to his calling. And if we're smart, we won't run from him because he can find us.
Yeah. You can't run from God. And you're never too far away for God to make a change.
That's it.
So, all right, guys. I know this was a long one, but it's worth doing. So,
all right.
See you guys.
Bye.